Hello, Veronica. It's Mr. Shawn again here to read another story to you. I hope you're enjoying these stories. I hope you're getting these stories and you're able to listen to them. I hope you enjoy them as much as I enjoy reading them to you. I wish we could be talking to one another over the connection, but things are what they are and we have to do what we have to do. So I hope you're learning a lot through these and learning other stuff at home. Maybe Mrs. Loudin is sending out different exercises for you guys to do. But maybe you're off right now, or maybe you're back to school. Who knows? But you'll be starting second grade in the fall, so that should be fun. All right, so let's get started. Our story today is Blackout by Anne Harth. Look at this picture. They've got candles on their table. Looks like their lights are out. So that means there's no electricity. That's what a blackout means. There's no electricity, so you can't turn your lights on. Has that ever happened to you? It happens to me here at my home every once in a while, not very often. Brian loved Friday nights. His favorite shows were on. It's almost time, Mom called from her office. Have you put your plate in the dishwasher? Well, I don't see that he has a dish with him. He has a remote in his hand for the TV. Looks like Dad's working on stuff, maybe in his shop, and Mom's working on her computer. Yes, Brian plopped onto the couch. He turned on the TV. The ads were still on. Dad's power saw buzzed in the garage. So that's what Dad's doing is he's cutting wood. All right. So do you have any favorite television shows that you watch? I have some that my wife and I like to watch together. A lot of them are people who redo homes, fix things up. Brian turned up the sound. He watched as a dancing orange sang about vitamin C. Suddenly, the TV turned off. A dancing orange sang about vitamin C. That's what fruits have, or vitamin C, which are important. It's an important vitamin for our bodies to have is vitamin C. The lights went out. The dishwasher and the power saw stopped. It was dark and quiet. Mom, Brian yelled. I'm here, Bri. It looks like Dad has a flashlight here. Brian doesn't look too happy because he's probably missing his shows. Dad came in from the garage. The whole street is dark, he said. There must be an electricity line down. He shone a flashlight into the room. Crazy shadows jumped across the walls. Ooh, yeah, that happens. So sometimes it's not an electricity line. Sometimes a squirrel gets into it's called a transformer, and it gets shocked, and it causes the power to go out. That's what happens, probably more so than when an electricity line goes down. But when we have really bad storms, when it's raining real hard and it's very windy and trees fall down, they will fall down on an electricity line. What about my shows? Brian said. Dad sat down next to Brian. You can't watch TV without electricity. Brian crossed his arms. Now there's nothing to do. Uh-oh, what are they going to do? Brian looks kind of bummed. Mom sat on Brian's other side. I can't do any work without my computer, and I can't finish the table without my saw, said Dad. They're all kind of out of luck here, aren't they? So they're going to have to find something to do together. So, have you ever had a power outage where the electricity's out? What have you done when it's out? What do you and your family do? Let's see what Brian and his family are going to do here. Brian thought for a minute. Can we play a game? Mom stood up. I'll get the matches. Brian, can you get the candles? So hopefully he has a flashlight or he knows exactly where to go to get the candles. It's dark, it's kind of hard to see and find stuff, isn't it? Dad handed Brian the flashlight. They're in the bottom drawer. I'll get the games, Dad said. Brian found 6 candles. He and Mom put them in holders on the kitchen table. Mom lit them. It looks great, Brian said. There must be This must be what it was like 100 years ago. When they didn't have electricity, they used candles or they might have lanterns, they call them. They used oil in them with a wick and they would light up. Sometimes people use them when they go camping. They use a lantern that uses kerosene, which is another kind of fuel, and it gets pretty bright like the candles do. But even before there were those, people used candles. People would still use candles today for some things. Probably, Dad put a stack of games on the table. He still held one behind his back. What else did you bring? Brian stood up and peeked around Dad. Uh-oh, what's Dad hiding behind his back? Think maybe it's one of Brian's favorite games. Let's see what Dad has. Dad pulled out a bright red box with a roller coaster on the front. Oh my. He put it next to the others. That's my favorite, Brian yelled. I thought you hated that game. Look at him. He looks so happy. Got his hands on his face. He can't stop himself from smiling. I wonder what the name of that game is other than roller coaster. I don't hate it. It just takes a long time to set up. I guess we have a long time now, don't we? Brian smiled. He opened the box. I wonder what they do to set that game up. There are certain games that take a long time to set up. There's one game that's kind of old called Mousetrap, and it all had all kinds of different pieces that you had to put together to start the game. So it took a long time to set up, but it was a lot of fun to play. So you created a mousetrap, but it wasn't any regular mousetrap. It had all kinds of different moving parts that had to happen. Suddenly, the lights and the TV came on. The dishwasher started. Brian blinked. It was loud. It was bright. So, what are they going to do now? Everything's back on. Are they going to go back to watching TV and working on the table or working on the computer? Let's see what happens. He looked at his mom and dad. Can we still play? Mom turned off the dishwasher. Brian turned off the TV and Dad turned off the lights. I love Friday nights, Brian said. They played. That's kind of cool. Doing something different but than what they normally do, and they all do it together. Do you have nights like that where some people call them game nights, where all your family gets together to play games together? We used to do that. We probably should do it again because it was fun. So let's see what kind of questions we have for this story, huh? What caused Brian's dad to think the cause of the blackout was a downed electricity line? What did Brian's family do as a result of the blackout? How did the blackout affect Brian? So, what caused Brian's dad to think the cause of the blackout was a downed power line? Let's see. what he said here, huh? Well, the whole street was dark. That's probably what made him think that it was an electricity line. Because if it was just their house, something was going on, probably in what's called your circuit box or your breaker box. So, what was another question here? What did Brian's family do as a result of the blackout? Well, what do you think they did? What did they do? Well, first, they got matches, and then Brian got the candles, and then they lit the candles, and then they provided light. So, what Dad got some games, didn't he? So, and then he brought out the roller coaster game, which was Brian's favorite game. So, the last question is, how did the blackout affect Brian? Well, first he was kind of sad because there was nothing to do. But then what happened? They played his favorite game. And when the lights came back on, he was like, "Can we still play?" He was having a lot of fun. So they turned the lights off and they started what's called a new tradition, I think, where on Friday nights they play games together, maybe even in the dark with candles going. And that would be fun. All right, Veronica. So that's our story for today. I hope you enjoyed it. That was kind of a fun story. All right. So until next time, bye bye.